Hello and welcome back to
Bunso
Bites.
Bites.
I'm your host Ami43.
And I'm your co-host Chigi.
Hi Chigi.
Hi, Ami.
You alright?
No.
You had a moment there.
Yeah.
A lot of moments there.
Yeah.
Would you care to share with class?
No.
All I'm going to say is setup today was a little rocky, but we're here. And we're recording.
I missed my previous setup because I could see the back of my CPU. Now I can't.
We'll figure it out because we still have to move it anyway, so it'll be fine.
Still.
We'll that's what I'm saying. We'll figure out. We'll find a solution so that it is brought to the front or it's more easily accessible for you. I digress. Happy pod, y'all. Happy pod day, I guess. We are kind of just in the middle of things as per usual. I feel like I don't know. I always kind of say like, oh yeah, life is busy, but like truly, our lives get pretty busy. What do you mean?
We should not be busy anymore.
We shouldn't be, but we are. But anyways, life is lifing in a good way, I feel like, but also just like in a seemingly normal way. As much as Chigi and we mentioned this like in our previous episodes, we're like trying to take this year to like really choose each other. It's been a transition, I guess to say. Not in a bad way, just we're adjusting as we go. And enjoying our married life. I'm enjoying our married life. Are you enjoying our married life?
Sure am.
You sounded so sarcastic.
I sure am.
Do you have any updates this week, Chiggy?
Updates. Yeah.
I think you're having a bit of a day, and that's okay. I was having a bit of a day like the last couple episodes, so I feel like this is okay. We're not always 100%. This is very real and raw and authentic for those who don't actually know us in real life. I don't know if there's anyone out there that's watching this, but this is genuinely like us every week, talking to each other on camera and, having these conversations. But for this particular conversation, I actually was thinking about it because we were talking about what we were going to talk about in the pod. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I don't really have anything. And I was like, oh, wait, I do have a story. And I don't think I've told you this story yet.
Go ahead.
So I work on a team that is like all over the place.
Mm-hmm. And
we recently restructured kind of, I don't know, they call it optimization. You know when big people like to, and by big people I mean like the big wigs upstairs, they like to use big words, and essentially it's just, you're just trying to take the same people and restructure in a way so that you have less people doing the same amount of work. They're calling it optimization. It really is just like they're trying to cut down on people. It's fine. It is what it is. My team has always been understaffed and overworked. It is not new for me. Like, my team was one of the teams that did have to work through furlough because there's just that much work. But we had I guess it would be the equivalent of like a district or like a division meeting. And we were part of a meeting that was not just our team, but like our team and like a couple other teams. And it was all under our new division head, so to speak, who's a very, very nice lady. But she is from Philadelphia. And so we were all talking, whatever. And so her icebreaker, as you know, most like corporate meetings, especially the ones that are like online. So if you're familiar with your Zooms and your WebExes and your Teams calls, it was an online thing, and so she put a prompt on like her slides of like, what was your favorite thing that you ate this past week or this past weekend or something like that. So everyone in chat's going off, oh, I had fried chicken, oh, I had this, oh, I had that, I had a really great burger, I had really this, whatever. I think I put something like cake because it was around the time of my birthday, and that was just like generic answer. I participated so no one can get mad at me, but also I have 10,000 things to do. I'm just listening in on this meeting. My input means nothing. And then one of my teammates actually answered, Punsit. Now, I don't know. I mean, she lives on the West Coast, and I feel like there's a lot more Asians on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. And so her having Punsit is not, and I want to be clear, she's not Filipino. She's Hispanic American, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's just kind of like, okay, and I was like, I kind of like, gave her like a little applause emoji because I was like, hey, Punsit, that's really, really cool. And then our division head, she's kind of reading, this is icebreaker or whatever, and she's like, what is pancit?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone in the chat was like blowing up. Mind you, there's 2 Filipinos on this call, myself and another person who actually is on my team. And like the other girl on my team was kind of like, she DM'd me, she's just like, should we answer? Like, other people were answering for us, which was what was really funny. Other people were saying like, oh, it's this like Filipino noodle dish, it's this, that, and the other. And then, you know, so my friend DM'd me, or the other Filipino on my team DM'd me, and she's like, should we answer like what it is? I was like, nah, don't worry about it. So then I put in chat, because I'm in the Hampton Roads office, I was like, if and whenever you come to Hampton Roads, I will make you a plate of pancit. You just come to my desk, or you just let me know and come to my desk. And it was just like, you know, little smiley emoji, which is like a very common, what's the word? Like Filipino culture type of thing. We love sharing our food. I know I love sharing our cultural food. And pancit is one of the foods that a lot of non-Filipinos enjoy. I think because it's just really, it's like the gateway drug to Filipino food. It's super easy to like get. It's just noodles and whatever you want. So like it can have like chicken, or it can have vegetables, or it can be, you know, no meat, or it can have like, it's a pretty easy to digest generic dish. It's not too fish saucy, not too soy saucy, not too, like there's not too many strong flavors. It's just noodles, vegetables, and meat. And it's sauteed, you know, on very high heat very quickly. And it's really, really good. Really great party food. Like it's always at every Filipino party. And so, you know, I just kind of generically put that. And then all that to say, after this meeting, I'm going over to the restroom, because, you know, after you sit in a meeting for so darn long, you got to go to the restroom. Go to the restroom. One of my teammates who was in the Hampton Roads office with me walks by me and was like, how does she not know what pancit is? This person, again, not Filipino. And I was like, well, maybe she doesn't have any Filipino friends, or maybe she's never experienced Filipino culture, whatever. without hesitation, this coworker, again, non-Filipino, but she does love and appreciate Filipino food, I know, because she always asks me to make her egg rolls or whatever for her birthday, was like, how uncultured. And I could not help but laugh, because I was like, I'm not even saying that it's my culture. I was the one who was like, come over to the Hampton Roads office, I'll take care of you, like I'll show you what it is. And then someone else who was non-Filipino was just like, absolutely uncultured. It made me die laughing. So that was kind of a funny little anecdote. It's almost like people were like, I don't want to say people were coming to my defense, but people were like really hyping up pancit. And then the fact that this one person who is from the Northeast doesn't know, I'm like, I don't know how common Filipinos are in the Northeast. I know that a lot of us aren't the biggest fan of the Northeast because it's cold, and the Philippines is an island, so a lot of us like to be in California or the South. To my knowledge, I don't be wrong. Watch there be like a huge Filipino culture up. I don't know. I mean, we know some in Jersey, we know some in New York. I don't know about Philadelphia though, so I don't know. If there are any Filipinos in Philadelphia, hit your girl up, and I'll tell my, you know, manager over there to come meet y'all or something. I don't know. But I thought it was really, really funny. And I thought it was very apropos for this particular episode because Chigi introduced this trend to me. We were interneting a little too hard. Chigi and I have been in the depths of the internet, a lot of just deep diving. And one of the things that Chigi came across was
this new trend.
This new trend.
It's a new recent trend on TikTok. And I was like at work, just doing my work, and one of my videos had ended, and I didn't get an autoplay for some reason.
Oh, okay.
And I have YouTube Premium, so it's like, why did it stop? So I'm like, okay, let me cancel and pick a new video.
Yeah.
And in my recommended was a video, kind of like the TikTokification of Asian food.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so I clicked on it. I was like, okay, let me see what this is about. And
what are they talking about?
This creator was talking about.
Do you remember his name?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I can put it in the comments,
in the description, yeah.
or I
it's
can
a very good video.
Put it overhead as we're talking about this. But he's talking about a recent trend going on TikTok called Brothy Rice, and yes, Brothy Rice, BROTHY.
Broth E.
Rice. And I was like, okay, what is this Brothy Rice? So, I stopped the video,
Mm-hmm.
go to my YouTube search, and just put in brothy rice.
Did you really?
Yeah. And then, I just see a couple of shorts and I'm just like, okay, I don't even need to play any of them to know what it is.
Yeah, you got
Basically, it is a dish that involves some type of protein on top of a pile of rice, and it is just flooded with broth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you can add whatever vegetables you want to complete the meal.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, okay, I know what this is about now. Let me see, if there's any more explanation behind to this brothy rice.
Right.
And so I go back to the original video and start playing it, and I'm just learning about it. I'm just like, yes, this is something that I'm accustomed to, because we don't call it brothy rice as a Filipino. As a Filipino, when we relate to broth, we call it sabaw.
Yeah.
And I think we've done this before on a previous episode, because I remember putting up the text box and, broth equals sabaw. So whenever we want brothy rice, we say sinigang with extra sabaw.
Oh, okay. Sinigang is a dish, but yes. The very stereotypical brothy Filipino dish is sinigang. That's the, tier list of popularity. One of the top ones. But brothy rice, by definition, would be kanin with sabaw. Yeah. I even called my mom to make sure that I was like, am I making this up? I'm like, this is just kanin with sabaw, right? And she's like, yeah. So that's brothy rice. And, whenever and a great example, you go to any Filipino restaurant, cafeteria, lunch line, whatever you want to call it, a lot of times it's very cafeteria style. You kind of pick your rice, or you pick rice or pancit, your carb, and then you pick your ulam, which is your entree dish. And depending on the restaurant, you can either normally sinigang is kind of used as a side, as your sabaw, or you can ask for sinigang and then you can ask for extra sabaw, which would make it brothy, I guess. But it's so weird to call it it I don't know. It's weird that it's this new trend, and it's no, I've just been eating that since forever.
Right.
That's not new to me. Now granted, we want to be very hyper specific in our explanation of this, and the thing specifically that Chigi and I are talking about are the creators who are taking this trend, and it's not even about the food anymore. It's not even about I don't even know how to describe it, but it's about two things: the aesthetic of the food, or sometimes it's both and sometimes it's separate, and or the health benefits of the food. And so it's we've seen every variation of the gym bro doing here's your high protein, if you want to do brothy rice but you want comfort food, da 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 da. And then they're do half a cup of brown rice, and then do, bone broth chicken, chicken stock, so you get extra protein. Do your extra lean, chicken breast or whatever, and then top it with chili oil. And it's and they are all just these variations of garlic, ginger, onion with some sort of chicken-ish broth doused in a bowl with rice. And the reason why I say aesthetic is because a lot of times what people do is they'll put the rice and then they put the broth around it, so it looks like a moat. You kind of get one of those pasta bowls, the more flat on the bottom and they're rounded on top. And it's okay. And I was I bet you if you put curry powder in that, or curry whatever in that, that's what Indians have. That's literally rice and curry for Indians. And then for Chinese people, it's oh, what's a rice dish with that's congee, it's ramen, but instead of noodles, it's rice. I mean, it's all these are all dishes that have been created and made for hundreds, if not thousands of years already within most Southeast Asian cultures who predominantly eat rice as our source of carbs. I haven't even touched Viet, Laos and all that. It literally is rice with an entree that happens to have a soupier base I know we were discussing soup and stew the other, like, a couple episodes ago. But, you know, and that's literally what it is. But then Western creators, I'm just going to generalize.
Yeah.
Western creators.
I wouldn't even say Western creators. I'd just say non-Asian.
Non-Asian creators are taking it and, like, being like, oh, look at this new phenomenal thing. It's so nutritious for you, like, high protein, this, whatever. And they just, this glorification of, like, that's the food that we were fed when we were sick. Like, I know the nights that I was sick, my mom would make either sinigang or tinola broth for me and put rice in it. And that was it. Because, like, when you can't stomach anything, it was just rice and that. What the Korean version of that is, like, there's the seaweed
soup.
Yeah. Like, and so every, like, Southeast Asian culture or Asian culture has, like, a variation of this, like, for when you're not feeling well, or which, like, yes, it is highly nutritious, easy on the stomach, whatever you want to call it, but it's, like, this weird, like, take on it where it's just, like, it's just, guys, it's just rice with, like, broth. Like, it's really, it's really weird, and it feels, I'm sorry, it feels very disingenuous in the way that they're presenting it, because it's like you can look at creators who look to new foods and new recipes and new things because they're trying to learn and they're trying to, like, culture themselves and whatever, and I think that's great. Just like the pancit story I was talking about at the top of the episode, I love when people want to learn about Filipino culture, especially as someone who's Fil-Am, so, like, I'm kind of a really good bridge for that. But it's like, it's I want to share it. I want you to learn it. But it's like, it's weird when, like, other people will, like, take it and then turn it into something that it's not. It's one thing to, like, twist it to, like, make it your own. Like, I understand some palate, like, a lot of people who are not Asian may not be able to, like, it takes a while for people who aren't used to fish sauce to get used to fish sauce. I can understand that. As someone who loves fish sauce, though, it's also just like, you need to learn because it's the best part of your life. I love fish sauce. So it's like, you know, I understand modification as you're learning about it, because, yeah, certain flavors and certain things. I still to this day can't eat natto, which is, like, a very common Japanese food, and I lived there for a long time, and it just couldn't get it. Do I appreciate it, though? Absolutely. Do I think it's really, really good for you? Absolutely. Would I take it and then try to make it less Japanese so that it appeals to me and then post about it on the internet and say, hey guys, look at this new, like, amazing soybean thing that's really, really good because it's fermented and da-da-da? Absolutely not. Like, that, why would you do that? I wouldn't do that. But it's just, it kind of, it's a weird ick. Is that the word? I don't know.
It could be. But when I first, like, heard the term brothy rice, I was like, what is this supposed to be? Like, I don't know if this is, like, a filler for non-Asians to use when they're trying to name a dish, because
Like, they can't say, like, the ethnic. Oh gosh, that sounds horrible.
Well, I'm just saying, because, like, when they say brothy rice, all I'm thinking about is there's rice and then there's broth.
Yeah.
It's not a rice bowl because the rice dominates in the rice bowl,
right?
And it's not a soup because the broth dominates in the soup.
Sure.
So it's an in-between between the rice bowl and a soup, and so you get brothy rice.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people, out of the shorts that we've watched already, when they say a brothy rice recipe, it doesn't really signify a certain dish.
No.
It's just whatever protein with whatever vegetables in rice and broth.
And, like, I guess it's all generally skewed towards an Asian flavor profile. And by that I mean, so, like, okay, there's no real recipe, but again, garlic, ginger, onion as your base. Then you add your chicken stock, bone, broth, whatever you want. Chicken based generally. And then, as you said, protein, generally chicken because of the gym bros. And then, but when you look at it, a lot of times it's like, oh, okay, then for the vegetable, they'll do Chinese broccoli or they'll do bok choy, which is, like, a very traditional, like, not traditional, but that's, like, something you would typically see on a Chinese, Japanese, even Filipino plate as, like, a steamed vegetable on the side. Or if it's not that, we saw many of them that had, like, dumplings or gyoza in it as, like, steamed as that was a protein. And it's like, and then they top it with, like, green onion and sesame seeds and all this stuff. So it's like, as much as there's no recipe, it's all very Asian skewed flavors, profiles, whatever. It's just like a very watered down, generalized version of an Asian recipe. Like if there was no recipe, but you wanted to eat something Asian, this is what I would do. Like I know that sounds silly, but like that's literally what it is. And then these people are just making it this like big novel thing, and I'm like, no, not even close. Not at all. It feels wrong.
Yeah. To us, it seems very normal, because we have names of dishes to go with, rice.
Yeah, sinigang, tinola, nilaga.
Right.
Yeah.
And since we do eat rice on a daily basis, that it's not anything new to us.
Right.
For the non-Asian part of the world, rice is not a staple in their culture.
Or it's not I would say it's a staple, but a staple in a different way. We and very specifically us, I know that there are variations of this, but we as Filipino Americans, we can, and we most of the time do, have rice with every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In non-Asian, and most Asian countries are like that, I feel like. In non-Asian countries, rice is a staple, as in like it is a carb staple that they have, but they also eat things like pasta and
breads. Yeah.
What else is it? I was like, rice is so much better than both of them.
It's personal preference.
Yeah, no, that is true. Because I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I just don't know enough pasta recipes, but I'm like, I can do so much more with rice. And that's the thing. Something that the creator had mentioned in that video from earlier, you said, a lot of, again, big generalization, a lot of Asian foods can have stronger flavors. So your fish sauces, your fermented, beans, kimchi, whatever it is, your nattos, your like very strong, pungent flavors within it, which is what makes it good. But rice has always been, and I think that's how I was introduced to it. I don't want to generalize for you, but like growing up, great example, ampalaya. What's ampalaya in English? Bitter melon. My mom would make ampalaya, and I don't like it. Still don't like it to this day, but she would give me a lot of rice and like a little bit of ampalaya so that I could tamper the taste of how strong the ampalaya was with more rice. Or like she'd put more egg on my plate to kind of like counterbalance. But that's what rice is. Rice acts as, I think he said like rice acts almost like a barrier or a buffer.
It's a neutralizer.
A neutralizer for how strong Asian, again, generalization, a lot of Asian dishes can be. I mean, and I'm even thinking of one of the ones he meant, century egg. You don't need a century egg straight up. You break that thing up and you mix it with your sauces and your whatever, and the rice helps that. But it tastes delicious when you mix it in. I'm a big fan of salted duck eggs myself, but I've done a century egg once or twice. I'm not the biggest fan, but I get it. I understand it. And again, rice helps because it soaks it up and it helps take away the extra acrid or the extra sour or the extra salty. Like it just helps rezone your palate back to neutral, literally. I think uniquely in a way that a lot of carbs don't. Like I don't know. Well, I guess pasta would, with like extra spicy pasta sauce. That's the only example I could think of. As I say that, I'm like, but rice does that with like really hot spicy Indian curries. Like a real true authentic Indian curry. Oh, you get that fragrant basmati rice. Like that they go together. And like that's why rice is so important to us, because it's part of the whole experience of the food. You don't eat your ulam straight. You eat it with rice because that's how it's supposed to be, in a way, So then, again, back to brothy rice. It's like, I literally saw people pouring the boxed chicken stock, and it just, it broke my soul. It's like, that's not that. I mean, it is, but it's not. I don't know. It's just a lot.
Okay. So I don't know why it's so prevalent and or so viral nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that the Western side of the world is getting into more Asian culture, Asian type dishes.
Mm-hmm.
But it got me thinking, like, what actually is brothy rice, and like what constitutes as brothy rice?
Sure.
Cause I've done this since I was like 7 or 8,
Yeah.
and back when I used to live in Italy, I would go to school, come back home. My parents wouldn't be home yet.
Shout out to the latchkey kids.
I had to come back home, be the first one home, and then
figure it out.
If I was hungry, I had to make something for me to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom, she would buy like Progresso noodle soup.
Yeah,
the chicken noodle soup.
Right?
Yeah. Either the pop cans or ones you have to use a can opener. Still got the same can opener that we used.
One, though, yeah.
Still works. And I'd like get that can, pour out the contents into a bowl, heat it up in the microwave, and then sometimes if there was rice, I would take rice from the pot and then put it inside the soup and then eat that. And it got me thinking. I was like, okay, so if I've been doing this, does that constitute what I did as brothy rice?
Yeah.
And then later on, when I introduced the topic to you, you were like, no, I think it's kind of the other way around. You need to put the rice first and then pour the broth over it to make it brothy rice. So I was thinking, like, what if I had made a reel with, the Progresso chicken noodle soup and do 2 different ways. You start with the noodle soup in a bowl and then you put the rice in. Does this constitute as brothy rice? Or because it's this new thing, it has to be over a bed of rice and then you pour the noodle soup over the bed of rice.
Chigi out here trying to break the internet, y'all.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe that can go viral, but
I don't know about viral, but it'll be really funny.
It'll be funny because, based on what I've seen and, just what I'm getting from all these shorts and reels of brothy rice, that constitutes as brothy rice.
Yeah.
So
you
got your protein, you got your vegetables, you got your broth, you got your rice, brothy rice. Hey, tell me I'm wrong.
With added chicken noodle.
Hey, double carbs, that's better for me.
Double carbs. I'm dead. No, I think it's exactly that where exactly that where you're taking just the base elements and then doing that. And like I said, to me, at least from the videos that we were watching, it's either the really, count your protein, count your macros people doing this, or the really like kitchen aesthetic ASMR, I'm going to show you how the chicken broth goes, like very like soft voiced people doing this trend. And it's like, okay, I get it. I mean, it looks great. I can see how it's so clicky or clickable, but it's also just, like I said from the beginning, it does feel very ick. And I think this also stems from a very big conversation that has been circulating the internet for a while, and it's one of those like, there's no discernible right or wrong, because as we've said before, we, or at least me, I don't know, I'm assuming you too, we love sharing our culture with others, genuinely. I think that's an amazing thing to do. I think one of the coolest things about living in the States is that you do run, like I was able to learn about so many cultures because, I work with so many cultures, and I live literally in the melting pot. But there also comes the conversation of when is it appreciation and when is it not appreciation. I know the other word people use is like appropriation. And, a big part of that also comes from people who like try to make money off of these things or whatever. An example that I had brought up literally like as soon as you brought this topic to me was it was like a Shark Tank episode where
Dragon's Den.
Or Dragon's Den, and Simu Liu was one of the, I think he was a guest judge. I don't know if he was.
Yes, he was a guest
judge, and this couple, this non-Asian couple, went on, and I don't know the full details. I just remember like the backlash from it. They essentially had a boba company, and they refused to reference the fact that boba is an Asian product. And there's a conversation to be had where it's like, well, yeah, I don't need companies to tell me like the history of everything, but there's also the acknowledgement of like, well, someone introduced this to you, or you went to whatever country, let's just say. I think boba came from Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. No?
Taiwan.
I'm sorry. Boba came from Taiwan. See, and even me, like, I don't fully know, but it's like, I know that it's not an American creation, and so whatever it was that boba was introduced to this particular couple who's trying to make a boba company out of it. It's like you can't just like take like read the room type of thing. It's just kind of like you have to acknowledge it. There was also those yogi girls who would like go on health retreats to Bali and India, and then they would come back and like open up these like yoga studios and be like, my life has changed, let me share these teachings and cultures with you. And it's like, you went to Bali for 3 weeks and half the time you're on drugs, and then you're going to come back and open a yoga studio, charge people $500 a class for something that you like. And then the people in like Bali and India and whatever, they were doing it their whole lives, like, you know, that's their living or that's their lifestyle, and then you're just going to take it and like make it into something that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's stuff like that like that's what makes it ick. I know one of the examples that the guy used in the video was like there was she's this girl creator who she tries different recipes from around the world, but she from the very beginning has always acknowledged and thanked, like literally in her caption, thank you, thank you Korea for making this great tteokbokki dish or something. Or how does she phrase it, because she's from the South? Tteokbokki dish. And it's like, it's really cute. And it, and it's like, again, it doesn't faze me if like someone doesn't pronounce it correctly. I'm more excited that they're trying and that they're excited to try it. But then when you take that and then you're trying to either make money off of it or like make it aesthetic or make it into something that's not it, and you're taking claim to it when it didn't, I don't know, you have nothing to claim for it. It's like, okay. And again, it just kind of puts like a weird ick in the faces of people who have been living that as their culture, as their truth, as their life, their whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a fine line. I think there is a gray area, because I think most of the time, and I'd like to believe in my optimistic mindset, I would love to believe that everyone has really good intentions when they're trying to share these things, because it is true. If me, a great example, I have fallen in love with Korean culture, with music and food and everything, and I take it upon myself to like share that with my friends and my family, but I never claim it as my own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I do, or I try not to, because it isn't mine, but I like to be like, oh no, we should try this dish, it's really, really good. Or I was talking to one of my girlfriends who she went to a Korean restaurant that we've been to thousands of times, but she had a dish that I'd never seen before, and I was like, is that new? She's like, yeah, they just added it to the menu. And I'm like, oh, we have to go because we have to try that, like, that type of thing. And I'm not out here trying to be like, oh, I'm so like Korean and I know Korean, and no, like I don't do that. I don't want to do that. I don't think anyone should want to do that. I think if you want to appreciate something, if you want to explore something, if you want to be excited about something, do all those things. But don't claim it and make it your own unnecessarily in a way that ignores and disregards its origins. I think that's part of the exploration and appreciation of it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not asking for full history, or like origin stories of like, the most niche things everywhere. I'm really not. And me, myself, I know that I am not the most educated when it comes to a lot of things about other cultures, outside of my interest in my bubble. But I also think that if and when you are recognizing another culture, whether that's in a recreation of food, or especially if you're doing it on a public forum like the internet, it's really, really important to at least acknowledge. I don't know. Do you have any?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify something that we had said earlier. Boba, don't know where it was originated from.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but bubble tea was...
bubble tea is Taiwan.
Yeah, bubble tea is Taiwan.
Okay.
That, they came up with that in the mid-'80s.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay.
And,
I was... is this tapioca? starch, which is
tapioca
like
pearls, yeah.
Yeah, which is like a common. I mean, we have that in sago, like that's sago essentially.
Yeah.
Tapioca pearls, and we put that in sugar syrup. It's not. We don't call it brown sugar syrup. It's just sugar syrup, and then we top it with the whole tofu. Yeah, soft tofu.
Yeah.
I was like, what is it called? So and it's like that's not. Yeah, that's common for us. I know it's in Chinese dishes too, or like what's the one that we get at the restaurant with the, like, little coconut milk and the little tapioca pearls?
I don't get it.
Oh well, I get it. But tapioca pearls are not an uncommon Asian ingredient because it's made out of tapioca flour and starch and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, bubble tea was
Taiwan.
Was Taiwan in the mid '80s. How it came about was just because they got colonized from the Brits back in the 1600s. They brought over milk and sugar, and because the Brits love tea. They kind of made that part of their culture in Taiwan.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And then between two restaurants in Taiwan, I don't know the whole story, but they were trying to come up with a new thing. And, one of the restaurants, they accidentally put boba in a milk tea.
Oh, yeah.
And by accident, it became like viral.
Yeah, most whole thing. You're like, whoa, what is this?
So the phrase bubble tea is a Taiwanese thing. So the company that you're talking about on Dragon's Den with Simu Liu, even their name, boba, they're using the word boba as their
trademark or their
name, the company name, and they just say it's a healthier bubble tea.
Yeah.
So
thank you. Okay, first of all, thank you for the fact check. Thank you for the history lesson. Fully appreciate. Clearly, as I said, I'm not the most educated on these things. I just kind of generally internet. But again, it really does come down to there's nothing wrong with learning and exploring and appreciating, but don't twist that into something else. Especially if you're doing so in a way that disregards the culture as a whole. And obviously, like, again, I couldn't give you a definition. It really is a case-by-case basis. It's like a situational thing. It's a gray area. Like, and I'm certainly not one I'm nowhere near qualified to be the type of person to justify that. As someone who has, parents who are from Asia, but as someone who grew up here, it's like I see both sides. I really do. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. It just one of those things. If you feel like it's like, am I towing the line? Ask a friend, literally. If you feel like you're towing a line, you're like you're about to post some, like, let's just say a cooking video, a Brothy Rice video. Go ask an Asian friend. Is this like too on the nose? Is this too whatever? Just ask a friend. I feel like that's kind of your best bet. And also, I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe it's just an old school way of thinking. If you don't think it's good to post, maybe just don't post it. We don't have to post everything, guys. We really don't. As I say, as we're recording a video right now to post online. But I mean, it's like not everything needs to be a repost just for the clicks. Especially if it does so in a way that's like really in a touchy space, or it's kind of like it's too gray of an area. I would just be like, all right, let that trend pass. Me personally.
Cool.
You got any final thoughts, Chigi?
No, I really want to go ahead and just make this real and see what everyone thinks about it.
Know. We should make up like a whole poll and everything. Community post poll or whatever it's called. That'd be really funny. Also, and we watched a lot of content in preparation for this episode. Obviously, we watched that video from that one creator. We watched subsequent videos. We watched the Brothy Rice videos. A video that we did come across, and it's also like one of those things that is pertinent to the conversation, but it's also like, again, I guess I'm just saying this as like a check yourself, myself included. This isn't just a whatever. When I was in high school, So this wasn't too long ago. As in, I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old. We'll say the 2010s when I was in high school. I brought Spam for lunch. I love Spam. Spam and rice. Oof. Best day ever when Mom would cook that for dinner, because she was just like, we're having breakfast for dinner? Yeah. We would do Spam, eggs, and rice. And my mom makes really, really good eggs. So best dinner ever. And so I brought the leftovers to school as bought, as is per usual. You normally have whatever's for dinner that you're bought on the next day. And I brought it out. I was excited to heat up my food in the one microwave in the whole cafeteria. So you got to wait like 10 minutes. But then finally sat down. And I sat down, amongst my friends, people that I considered my friends. And I opened up my little Tupperware with my Spam and rice and egg. And the girl next to me, who I think I can say she was white. The girl next to me was like, "Is that Spam?" And I was like, "Yeah. Do you want some?" I was so excited. Babe, I was so excited. I was like, "Do you want some? Like, it's my favorite. You want some?" And she, without hesitation, without a blink, without stopping, without a beat, "Isn't that poor people food?" And that sucked. A lot. I think I was probably 14 when this happened. And I came home. I couldn't tell you what happened during the day. I don't know. I don't think I ate my food. I didn't throw it away, but I didn't eat it. I just kind of put it away and walked away. And I very distinctly remember telling my mom about what happened. Now, I'm not the person who goes home and cries to my mom all the time. I was growing up, I was very proud of myself for how much I hid from my parents. And by that I mean anytime I got bullied or anytime I got whatever, I wasn't the type to be like, "Mom, Dad, whatever." But I went home and I told my mom about this because I didn't know what to do. And I was heartbroken. But also I was like, why is that her perception of what this is? And this is one of my favorite foods. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, "Mom, I love when you make Spam. I think it's so cool when you make Spam because it's you make it so well." I don't even remember why. Just, when your mom makes your food and it's the best food. And I just love when my mom made Spam, eggs, and rice. That was one of my favorite dinners growing up. And, fast forward, not even 10 years later, what's the biggest trend online? Spam masubi. And all of a sudden, Spam poke and all that, Spam bowls, Spam in hibachi. Spam is literally everywhere, and it's the coolest thing on the block. And every single time I see Spam masubi, Spam bowls, whatever, especially when we go to Hawaiian places and stuff, I always think about that girl. I see that on the menu and I'm like, I wonder if she's tried Spam recently, or I wonder if she's had that recently. I wonder how she feels about Spam now after telling me. And this is high school, hierarchy and popularity in front of everyone at the table. Isn't that poor people food? And it's is it poor people food now that it's cool and trendy and popular? And it's a food that I grew up eating, So, again, all that to say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because, I really wish, with love, but I really wish I could just shove it in that girl's face and be like, you sure it's a poor people food now? Or are you just unaware or ignorant or uncultured or whatever it is? And I don't even want to do it in a mean way. It's just do you see how little you knew? And now that you know that it's really good, I know that girl orders it at least once a month, because down where I'm from in Florida, there's 10,000 places that sell it. So I'm just I know you order it if you DoorDash your food. Who knows? I don't even know if she's still there. But it's I'm not friends with her anymore online or anything, so I don't know. But it's hello, why would you say that? Don't ever say stuff like that, especially just about things that you don't know. If you don't know, be curious about it. Don't put it down or push it aside just because you don't know it. You have to be curious. Because if you're not, then you're being rude. Sorry. That healed something in me. She was rude, okay? My feelings were hurt, okay? But yeah, I think and you hear that story across so many Asian kids, and not even just Asian kids, so many kids who had hardworking parents whose parents would make like food that they grew up with and food that, may not necessarily be burgers and chicken nuggets and french fries, and they would give it to their kids as nourishment, as food, and we would bring it to school knowing that this was something homemade that my parents made for me. It's not just some Lunchable, some Hot Pocket, something. My mom made this for me. She slaved over a stove for 3 hours for me so that I have food when I go to school so that I can learn and have a better life. Don't be curious about it. Don't put it down unnecessarily.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of Asians that are in the western side of the world, going through elementary, middle school, and even high school sometimes, if they bring their ethnic dishes to school, someone's going to say something because they're going to take one glance at it, or they're going to take a whiff of it, and they're going to that's not regular cafeteria food. That's weird. That's
not weird, doughy, cheesy pizza that doesn't actually taste like pizza.
They're going to make some type of comment because they're not used to it.
Yeah. But,
I mean, the way that you brought up, it's poor people food. Yeah, it might be poor people food, but, our parents, at least, they tried to give us the best future.
Parents gave us everything.
Right?
Yeah.
Try to give us the best future, and by, for them to give us what they could and try to stretch their dollar as far as they could, giving us, homemade meals instead of buying, fast food or cafeteria food or whatever.
More than they even gave themselves.
They saved up that money, penny by penny, dollar.
Yeah.
And they provided us a better life. Now, that just shows you that, not just to say Filipino cuisines, a lot of Asian cuisines, they like to use a lot of cheap ingredients to make a dish. And so, it could be poor people food too. Who cares? It's delicious.
If it tastes good, if it got flavor, if it got taste,
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this. I mean, Spam nowadays, that's like almost $5 a can. Oh my god!
For the flavored ones. I mean, you can get the light ones for not too bad. Because the light ones are still the cheapest one. They're like $4.19.
Yeah, but still, Spam, it quote unquote, is it a poor people's food? Not anymore.
Yeah. But then again, is anything cheap nowadays?
Right. But yeah, that's one I wanted to add on to. Yeah, a lot of Asian cuisines, they just use scraps and or whatever they have an abundance of.
Yeah.
And
they use that and they
as a meal.
The best of it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Oh man. Sorry, I'm like all types of emotional. But like
You're
in a good
good.
way.
You're good. I could also say that, hey, I know you probably have heard this joke and it's true for a lot of Filipinos, but you bring your lunch pail. You bring it to school, you have your mom make you your food, and then you open up your lunch pail, and then you take out your food, and there's a Cool Whip container.
Yeah, buddy.
And in that Cool Whip container is not Cool Whip.
Not Cool Whip. Nope.
It's your actual meal.
It's rice and ulam, baby.
And so, they save money placing your food in that Cool Whip container instead of buying some Glad containers and or some type of fancy container to put your food in.
Yeah.
So.
No, we had the value pack Glad containers, the ones with the purple lids, and we used those for them things was falling apart. My mama still kept using them because we was using them for stretching them out for every single penny. And yeah, no, that's the realest one for sure. The Cool Whip container, or what was the other one? There was another one. The Chinese containers.
Oh, like the one that comes to mind for me is those cookie containers.
Yeah, the tins.
Yeah. You finish those out, clean it out, and then now it's a sewing container.
Mm-hmm. Is it going to be sewing or is it going to be cookies? Who knows? I think one of our friends was cleaning up their attic or something, ran into one, and he put a poll on Instagram. He's like, will it be a sewing kit or will it be cookies? Opens it up. Peanuts from like a decade ago. It's like, oh, okay. Anyways. Sorry, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, that's it.
Okay. We hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Let us know in the comments down below if you have any thoughts on Brothy Rice or any of the other plethora of things we talked about. I feel like we have a very unique perspective because our parents were immigrants and we're first gen. But obviously, like, I feel like everyone has a say in this because culture is not defined by specific boundaries or lines. But it's also it's one of those things that, again, as a whole, we should appreciate together. But yeah, let us know if you've had any other similar experiences to like us. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and we will see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.